Thank you very much for joining us on another edition of Conversations with Avinash Satwalekar, President of Franklin Templeton's India business. It's been a festival of products at Franklin Templeton. We've introduced 7 product solutions in the last 15 months, and I'm here to talk a little bit more about the next product that we are going to launch, which is the multi-factor fund. And I have with me Avi, who's going to give us a little bit of a background of what's the real benefit that we bring to the table when we introduce this product in the marketplace. Avi, this is the first fund that Franklin Templeton's launching, which is actually going to use a quantitative model, to construct the portfolio and then manage it. I think it'll be great if you can give the audience a perspective on the key differences between quantitative investing and fundamental investing.
So we are a fundamental investor, and we've always been a fundamental investor for the longest time. So what everybody knows us for is our fundamental investing. What is the definition of fundamental investing? Is that you actually look at each individual company, you analyze each individual company, you understand, you go through a bunch of metrics and research, and you say, okay, whether the sector is good, whether the company management is good, whether the growth prospects are good, etc., etc. When you're talking about quantitative investment, you're actually looking at simplifying that entire process, but using data, pure data, rather than any qualitative assessment. Right. So what is that doing? That is using models, that's using algorithms, that's using essentially machines,
right,
rather than, and as we progress, it will be artificial intelligence. Rather than actually trying to understand what a management team does and says is immaterial in a quantitative model.
Got it.
Because there will be a factor that is utilized, which will represent that component.
Got it.
And that's what quantitative investing is.
Right.
Is that essentially there's a model that runs the entire thing based on certain factors and gives you a portfolio based on it.
Right. Now, I'm just going to step a little ahead, and the multi-factor fund that we are launching is actually an active quant fund. Correct. So should I say that, well, if it was a fundamental strategy, the human bias element would be a little higher as compared to an active quant strategy, where the data elements would actually supersede and the human factor would be a little lower?
You can definitely say that, but that also is, it's not one is better than the other.
Correct.
Because
it's
when you say a human bias, there's a negative connotation to that, and that's not necessarily the case. The difference is that an actively managed quant fund means that the model spits out an answer, and then you have a portfolio manager that has the ability to assess that answer and decide whether it is actually going to fit with the strategy or not.
Right. So, Avi, talk us through a little bit of a background on the multi-factor fund that we're launching.
Sure. So the multi-factor is primarily going to be, for our model, is driven by 4 groups of factors: quality, value, momentum, and what we call is alternates. Right? And there's more than 40 factors within these main 4 groupings, and all of those pulled together are spit out a result for the model. That model is then looked at on a daily basis, but the model then is rebalanced. The portfolio is rebalanced on a monthly basis.
Got it. Avi, what is really unique about this fund that we're launching?
So the Franklin India Multi-Factor Fund is a model that has been created by one of our global teams, the Franklin Templeton Investment Solutions. Now, this team has been doing this for an extended period of time and has created a model that has been tested. Right? They manage over $30 billion or over 2 lakh crore rupees, and this is managed across 70 different strategies. Right? So they've done this for a while. This model is now being brought into India and is going to be the backbone for our strategy.
Got it. And so, Avi, I think my last question in this conversation is going to be in terms of what's the kind of investors who should really look at a multi-factor fund of this kind?
So the fund that we're launching is a broad-based equity fund, right? So that is essentially anybody that's looking at core equity exposure. That would be an ideal fund. Anyone that is trying to essentially look at a quantitative approach, that would be the ideal. So it's a broad-based equity fund. It's effective for anyone that looks at equities, but primarily from a core equity standpoint.
Great. Avi, thank you so much for joining us for another conversation. I mean, we've done a few of them with you the last couple of months. And hopefully, I think investors and distribution partners would, look at investing in this particular fund, because it's a completely different strategy that we're bringing to the table from what we already have on the basket right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of this conversation. Just to summarize, Franklin Templeton India is launching the multi-factor fund on the 10th of November 2025, and the NFO period ends on the 24th of November. This is a fund with 4 broad factors of quality, value, momentum, and alternatives. And it's clearly a unique strategy that we bring to the table for the very first time from the Franklin Templeton house here in India. I'm hoping that we're going to get the maximum support from distribution partners and investors during the NFO period, as well as continued support when we reopen the fund. Thank you very much once again.
Taking my notes away now. He has notes, so I can't have notes.
I have questions.
Then you keep it.
You have to be told where the lens is.
Cool.
Of product launches.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.